about it.
All right, we're about to be live in 2 minutes.
Real truth and power, health, wealth, knowledge of self, uplifting the community. Let's talk about it. Real truth and power, health, wealth, knowledge of self, uplifting the community. Let's talk about it. Real truth and power, health, wealth, knowledge of self, uplifting the community. Let's talk about it. Real truth and power, health, wealth, knowledge of self, uplifting the community. Let's talk about it.
All right, welcome to Real Truth and Power, where we provide powerful content to uplift the Black community with health, wealth, and knowledge of self. I'm very excited to be here today. We got another powerful show, and it's going to be real interesting. So before we start, let's get the show going.
You are now tuned in to Real Truth and Power, the show that uplifts the community with health, wealth, and knowledge of self. Here's your host, Everett Winchester.
Wow, so we are blessed to be here today. And again, welcome to the Real Truth and Power live show, where we provide health, wealth, and knowledge of self to uplift the Black community and all communities involved. We are trying to just bring some closure to a lot of issues that we have so we can get it together. Today's topic is a strange topic, but it's a weird topic on top of that. It's a kind of sports topic, but it goes deep into culture and community. And it is about the Washington Redskins. Is that name racist? Is the logo racist? And should we be supporting the Washington Redskins? So before we bring in Brother JRICH, you know, Brother JRICH is my guy, strong Muslim brother, and he's always dropping knowledge. But he's a Redskin fan, and he wears that Redskin hat proudly. And a couple of people called him out. So we want to talk about it. I see we got a call on the line, and once we play a couple of these videos, just hold tight. I will get to you. But let me play a little video on what happened. I believe this was last October. Let me play this video first.
From the high schools all the way up through the professionals, there are teams that are changing their names. Why not Washington? And I totally get it. Everyone from the high schools all the way up through the professionals, there are everyone from the high schools all the way up through the professionals, there are teams that are changing their names. Why not Washington? And I totally get it. And I'm on their side because it is derogatory. It's time for a change.
Oh, I love the mascot. We got rich tradition right here. You see all these Super Bowl wins we got? The example is the Florida Seminoles. What happened with Florida, they went to the tribe itself to talk with tribal leaders and leadership and say, is it okay if we continue with your name? Is it okay the kind of representation that we have using your name?
We would like to see the Washington mascot dropped and for them to be more respectful to everybody.
As it refers to the blood running down our ancestors' bodies after they were attacked and scalped and mutilated. That's where that word comes from. It doesn't come from the color of their skin.
All right. So there I heard something that I never knew, that the Redskin wasn't a name that was about the color of the skin. The Redskin name was traditionally a heritage type thing that talks about the culture of how they were, mutilated and killed. I'm going to play one more video, and then we're going to get Brother JRICH in and go to the phone lines and get you guys opinion on this. Should we start boycotting the Redskins? Let me go to this next video real quick.
From the high schools all the way up through the professionals, there are.
Thanks for joining us at this hour. People are gathered in downtown Minneapolis to protest the name of the Washington Redskins, who are in town to face the Vikings tonight. This is a live look from Sky 11. It is a debate that has been going on for several years.
Janelle Klein is live in Minneapolis with more on the controversy surrounding the team's name. Janelle?
Well, Julie and Randy, signs and speeches are what fans are seeing as they arrive here at US Bank Stadium ahead of tonight's Vikings-Redskins game, as protesters are gathered to speak out against the Redskins' nickname and mascot. A group of about 200 people arrived here just before 5 o'clock tonight after marching downtown from PV Field Park in Minneapolis, urging the Redskins to retire its name and logo in an event organizers are calling Not Your Mascot. Supporters of the National Coalition Against Racism in Sports and Media say the nickname is, quote, a dangerous caricature of Native Americans. You might remember a similar protest 5 years ago at TCF Bank Stadium at the 2014 Redskins-Vikings game. Organizers say that protest drew more than 4,000 people, and they're frustrated the name hasn't changed in those 5 years. The Redskins have declined to comment about tonight's protest, but in the past, team owner Dan Snyder has said the name will not change. And with more on that and on the history of the nickname issue, here's Carol Evans, Alex Hagan.
At South High School in Minneapolis,
here is what I wanted you guys to first see. There we go. Oh.
Social studies teacher Vincent Patton shares his experience.
Being a Native American man, I have experienced racism multiple times.
And why he will be protesting Washington's football
At South High School in
Minneapolis, the Vikings
here is what
my
understanding, the word Redskin, as you can see here, is a dictionary-defined racial slur.
And I just hope that I can catch half of them. 25% of them to think and question the status quo of mascots. I really do hope that.
For decades, Native Americans have protested Washington's name. The first large protest during the 1992 Super Bowl at the Metrodome when Washington played the Buffalo Bills. Thousands of protesters. Then in 2014, another large protest outside TCF Bank Stadium when the team played the Vikings. And now tonight.
We hope to exceed those numbers tonight at the Commons at US Bank Stadium.
David Glass with the National Coalition Against Racism in Sports and Media helped organize the protest.
It's time for Dan Snyder to open up his ears, open up his heart, and to hear our message and to move it along. And let's come up with another name for the Washington team.
A team spokesperson did not comment on the protest, but owner Daniel Snyder has said in the past he will never change the name.
Injustices that are happening
back in the classroom. Vincent
in our back
will continue to spread his message.
The name will be done, it will be changed.
In Minneapolis.
And that's my ultimate hope.
Alex Hagan, KARE 11 News.
Again, the Redskins team has said it will not change the name, but organizers are saying that is not deterring them whatsoever. They say they are encouraged by the support they're hearing tonight, including from several lawmakers, not to mention from Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan tonight. So they say they are pleased with the turnout despite a lower number, and they'll continue speaking out. Randy and Julie?
All right. Thank you, Janelle.
All right. So I know I have a call on the line. I'm going to get you in a 1-second caller. Let me bring in Brother JRICH. Let me try to get you on the screen there, brother. Hold on 1 second.
All right. So I know I have a call on the line. I'm going to get you.
And can you mute your there you go, JRICH. Perfect.
Oh, my bad.
No, you good. You good. Hold on 1 second. Let me zone you out there. And while I'm getting you straight, how did you feel about the video? Were you able to listen to some of the video?
Yeah, I was.
And what did you feel about it? One of the things, and I don't know when you came in, I didn't know that the word Redskin in Indian heritage meant, they were mutilated, and it meant, how they were tortured and things like that. One of the people said, I didn't know that. So let me ask you, I know you're a huge supporter, and I have a call on the line. I'm going to bring him in 1 minute. Does that make you change your mind a little bit?
How they were tortured and things like that. One of the people said, I didn't know that.
And I got a little feedback. Is that you? That's okay.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Not really, no, man. But I'm gonna let this caller go ahead and speak his piece, and I'm gonna reserve my feelings and everything. You know what I mean? As people call in, and I'll just go in once we have gotten everybody's opinion of it. But no, that doesn't change my opinion, and I'll tell you why in a little bit.
All right. So I'm bringing in a caller. Last 4 digits, 8768. Are you there, caller?
Yes.
How you doing today? What's your name and where you calling from?
I'm Cherokee Bell Phoenix, and I'm calling from the Baltimore area.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I'm so glad you called in to voice your opinion. One of the things I didn't know was in one of the clips, the guy was saying that, Redskin wasn't about an Indian, and it wasn't about the color of the skin. The background was more about them being mutilated, killed, and the bloodshed. And I didn't know that. And when the Indian said that, it kind of messed me up a little bit. Could you elaborate on that and just give your opinion on how you feel about the name and the team and not changing its name?
The way I feel about it is Redskin is offensive to me. It's the people that I know. I'm Salaji, which is also known as Cherokee Eastern Band. And Redskin, as I know it, is how people were skinned alive or dead, and the blood of the indigenous or native person, the more blood that was on the skin, the more money the person or the European got for that person. So to do that, to buy tickets for the for the Redskins or the Cherokee Eagles or the Seattle Seahawks is to uplift white supremacy, to watch their games, to wear their memorabilia. In anyone with their bloodline, I question their genetics and their loyalty for their people. Like, how can you say, it's people out there that have that bloodline and they proudly wear it. Like, where does their loyalty lie? Like, and their ancestors went through this, or they've heard of stories, and if they are this heritage and they don't know that, that's where research, we live in an information age. There's nothing that people can't find out or learn, in this day and age. We have Google, we have the Library of Congress, we have Ena Pratt, where I live, there's Ena Pratt. There's so much that can be learned, So, that's how I feel on this subject. I just question people's loyalty, and then upholding it. Where do people doing that, where does their loyalty lie? They claim that heritage or whatever. That's how I feel on the matter.
Now, before I'm going to keep you on for a minute because I want you and Brother JRICH to have some dialogue. I personally did not know the history of the name. I thought it was just insulting, and I guess I never looked at it until people complained about it. I thought it was just like the color of the skin, and they felt it was derogatory. In another video, and I don't know if you were able to listen to both videos, there was a guy that responded. He was Indian, and he was saying the issue with Florida State Seminoles is they approached the school, and the school started to talk to them and try to change the narrative of what they were doing. But the Redskins owner refuses to talk to anybody. He refuses to try to bring a connection to them. And he said that's another issue. How do you feel as an Indian to feel in some way that he doesn't even want to change the name or even talk to you guys about it?
Well, as an indigenous person, I feel that there should be communication. But some people aren't willing to talk about it, and that's the problem, not willing to sit down and have a conversation.
Okay.
It should be a conversation. We need to be included. That's the problem.
Brother JRICH, I'm going to keep the caller on so we can build some strong and positive dialogue. First of all, Brother JRICH, were you aware of the history of the name as far as the Indians, the Red Indians, as I was saying, because I know you had mentioned on a previous show about Black Indians. But were you aware of the name and the history? Because I wasn't. I was ignorant to that fact of, of what it represented.
Yes.
Okay. And go ahead.
I disagree that the name Redskin came from the scalping. Now, scalping did go on, and I'm not doubting, and I'm not saying that didn't happen. What I'm saying is that as early as in most, if you actually research it, and early as most history goes back, it's the name Redskin actually originated from the indigenous people to separate them from being mistaken for the European that came and invaded our land. The name Redskin was synonymous with red man and American native. It wasn't until hundreds of years later, it wasn't until like the 60s that you seen people saying like, oh, this name is disparaging, this name is disparaging. But when you go back and you look in it, like for now, for an instance, if you look up the word Redskin, it'll just say derogatory term for Native American. That didn't happen until the 80s. The earliest term for the Redskin that was placed in the dictionary goes back to like the 1500s. And the word Redskin was synonymous with red man and Native American. It was never seen as a derogatory term because the term actually was derived from the Native American and the French down in or along the Mississippi.
Caller, what do you have to say in response to what Brother JRICH is saying? How would you like to respond to that and what he says the name derived from?
It's one thing for people to name themselves and say, okay, this is what I want to be called, but to capitalize and to have a history of, he mentioned, Mr. Rich mentioned scalping. Scalping is one thing, but to take and strip someone's whole skin off and to have them bleed and to have to be paid money for is one thing. And to have someone say, okay, this is what I want to be called and this is okay, but to capitalize off of a name, that's exploitation, and that's something totally different.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Do you know where how the team Redskins got its name?
I've heard variations.
Okay.
But I haven't heard of where I haven't heard of where they sat down with indigenous people and asked them if this is okay for them to name the team that name. I have never heard that instance.
Okay. Well, then the owner of the Redskins, he started off in Boston. I forgot what the name of the team was the first year. You know what I mean? But they started off in Boston. At this time, this is around 1930, 1932, somewhere in that era. At this time, football was mainly played by Native Americans. They were the best in football, just like blacks are nowadays. There were teams that were completely Native American. This guy, when he started his team, he wanted to start an all Native American football team. He wanted it from beginning, from the top all the way down, from the head coach to the players to the staff. He wanted everybody on his team to be Native American. I forgot what the name of it. I want to say you that it was the Chiefs or something like that was the first name the first year. The second year he renamed it the Redskins, and he renamed it this. Now, granted, just about everybody on his team is Native American, and that's the way he wanted it. He wanted an exclusive Native American team because they were the best at Native, and it was called Native American football. He was not the only person that had this type of name for his team. There were a lot of cities that had, you know what I mean, their own football teams, and those football teams were mainly comprised of Native Americans. So that's just like saying, like, okay, I'm gonna start up a football team, all black. I'm gonna name it the Jigaboos. I'm gonna have a Jigaboo at the at head coach. I'm gonna have a porch monkey as my GM. You know what I mean? But that wasn't it, because the name Redskin was not associated. It was not seen as something negative. In fact, it was seen. It was seen as a warrior. He was seen as something. This was seen as something that built confidence. This wasn't a thing that were like. It was disparaging. It was never seen as disparaging again until like the 60s. So we're talking about the first time it came into print from the 1500s up until 1960. This name was never associated with any negativity or derogatory term. And when you look at it, it means red skin. That's it. So as I call myself black, that's not racist. That's like me saying, like, oh, anytime you call a white person white, that's racist. Or you call a black person black, that's racist. And they call themselves red. The term red man, the term red skin, the term red Indian was never seen as being derogatory. And when he started up the Boston Redskins, he did it to honor them. He built the team of Native Americans to honor them because he felt as though they were the best in the sport at that time, and this was their warrior. They went from having a spear on the helmet to putting Indian on the helmet.
Now, before you respond, caller, but let me hold your thought real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you so much, because I want you to get it in, and you've really given me a lot of in-depth knowledge. Let me ask you this, brother JRICH. We know there's a lot of different meanings. For example, the N-word and N-word twice. It means something to us, and it means something when they say it. Let me ask you this. Seeing that we had a video with two Indians stating that it meant a different meaning than the term of your skin, the caller saying that, is there something to where you can feel a little compassion and say, wow, if they're feeling this way, maybe we do need to look at it? I mean, I don't want to offend anybody of any culture. And if anybody feels any kind of way, don't we have to at least respect them a little bit, look at our culture? And also, and of twofold, couldn't the owner, just like the College of Florida State, come out and say, hey, you know, let me see what I can do to change the narrative for you guys? Is it that big deal of a name to you that you can't respect the feelings of others?
So for me, to go back to what the caller first said in the very beginning or what have you, I can trace my roots back to our tribe back in North Carolina. I was raised in the house by an Indian. You know what I mean? He's still alive. I just talked to him the other day. My grandfather and his father. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, you know what I mean? His father died, you know, long before I was born. You know what I mean? But yeah, we still have a tribe there. At this point in time, I guess because of like the COVID-19 or whatever, there won't be a powwow this year. But no, because my uncles, my cousins, all Redskin fans. It wasn't to me. It was never, and I've heard the term like, oh, that just meant like when they were scalping, you know what I mean? That's when they were scalping Indians. That's when they were scalping Indians. That's when they were scalping Indians. But when you go back and you look and you try to find this term, you know what I mean, somewhere where it's meant them being scalped, you can't. You know what I mean? In definitions of in
So hold on, brother J. Rich. And Carl, I'm gonna let you go right after this. Hold on. I'm sorry, brother J. Rich. But in a video with two people, this caller is saying they took that name and they put it into a term for them. You don't feel like you're being kind of just not even given that culture or what they believe that name is any kind of power? Because, I mean, they feel that way. They took that name and changed it to something of empowerment. Just like we say the nigga, the N-I-G-G-A, a lot of people say that empowers them. I don't like that name. I don't like to say that name, even though I do say it, you know. She is in some ways saying to her, and when they grew up and they took that name and it means something else and it's disrespectful. I know what you're saying, what your research says it is, but they are saying something different. What about their feelings?
It's not only my research. And when you say they, you know what I mean? I have Native American in my blood. So it's not just they. It's not only through my grandfather, but also through my grandmother. So no. So when you keep saying they, what am I?
Well, let me rephrase that. They meaning the people that feel disrespected. It could be a white person. It could be a black person. If someone feels that name is disrespectful, is the name that serious that you can't take people's feelings into consideration?
I'm not saying that I'm not taking other people's feelings in consideration. Only thing that I'm trying to express is the viewpoint of why people ask like why the name hasn't changed, because the name was never meant to be derogatory. The name was never even seen as derogatory until recent years. And when you say like, oh, he couldn't sit down and talk to people, that's not true. Dan Snyder actually went out to different reservations and he started up the Redskin Nation, where they give money, they give funds to reservations and to Native Americans that are struggling. That's not true. He did do that. I'm not even a big fan of Dan Snyder. I don't even like the guy. You know what I mean? From what I see of him. But that was one thing that I was just like, okay, all right, well, he made an attempt. So be it. He did it because of the pending lawsuit. Don't get me wrong or what have you. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, he actually did go out and talk to people. And go to different tribes and talk to them.
Was he sincere, brother? Was he sincere?
I did do. He did. Man, I can't tell you. I doubt it. I think he did it, you know what I mean, just so he can get the lawsuit dropped. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, you know what I mean, there was any empathy in what he did, but you can't say that he didn't do it because he did.
Caller, you want to go in and comment again on what this brother is saying? I personally think that he's being a little disingenuous about it. What do you say?
I think about the whole thing is I think it depends on who you ask. Like, to me, it's offensive. And my thing is I think that it depends on who you're asking, because I think it depends on your heritage. Like, some people are black Indians, so they had part of them is black, part of their heritage is Indian. So their viewpoint is going to be totally different. I don't think it's going to be as sincere and as heartfelt as someone that's truly indigenous, that has that may live on a reservation or may have a different story, things of that sort, because they still have another side to them. They still have another struggle as well. I can't speak for that, and I think that, at one point in time, and then there's the great white hope or white supremacy that wants to come in and save the Indian, kill the Indian and save the man, and wants to say, oh, they do good at sports. Let me get this together and save them and, put this money together and create a team for them and save the world. We don't need that as a people. We don't need that. We didn't ask them, oh, they do sports good. Let's, create a team and let them do this. We don't need them to play savior. We don't need that complex. I think that's one of the major problems. We don't need the white people to come in and have their savior complex, put their money together and create a team. And then also people have the right to change their mind. They may say, okay, we can use this name, but down the line they may say, we don't want this. Everybody has the right to change their mind at some point in time. I don't think they should be held hostage or something. They might have made a decision one day and say, hey, this doesn't set right with my spirit. I'm an adult. I need to change my mind.
Caller, I'm going to take another call. Would you like to hold on for a second?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to put you on hold real quick. I am going to come right back to you. Let me take another call real quick. Let me see. I'm going to go with 9151. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from?
You can call me Ernest. I'm calling from Richmond, Virginia.
The Alchemist, Ernest.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I got you good. You hearing Brother JRICH?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you've been listening.
We have this top. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go in.
Mm-hmm. We actually have this topic because the last time you were on, I brought up the hat you had on, the cap. It was me that brought this up as a topic. And I think it is not only disingenuous, it's dismissive for anyone who even considers themselves black to defend in any way, shape, or form this white supremacist racial slur. Now, you can be a football fan, like who you like, root for who you root for based on where you are from. But to deny that this is a racial slur is not only a slap in the face to a portion of indigenous people, because I'm not going to assume that one group of indigenous people speaks for all groups of indigenous people. That's also racial bias and bigotry. But there are indigenous brothers and sisters who find this offensive. That's where the lawsuit came from. And it is a racial slur. I grew up loving football. I rooted for the Cowboys. I can't stand Jerry Jones. I think he is more than a racist. I am no longer a football fan. The only reason why I even am interested in football is because I want to support the career of Lamar Jackson. That's it. That's the only thing that kept me interested in football. But when you talk about, and I am from Baltimore, so I went to school, University of Maryland College Park, so I'm very familiar with that fan base in D.C. And second to maybe the Philadelphia Eagles, Washington has the most disrespectful fan base, and I'm excluding the Pittsburgh Steelers in that. But to be a man of color and to sit here and support and to justify this racial slur being used continuously after a portion of our indigenous brothers and sisters have vehemently fought against it. Why did Syracuse change its name from the Orange Men? Why are other organizations changing their name? That's a legitimate question. Why did Emerson High School change its name? Change its mascot from the Redskins to the Reds? So this is not something that people are making up, right? And come up with whatever justification you want to come up with. Anyone with any sense of consciousness, forget football. Anyone with any sense of consciousness understands what that is. And there's no justification for it. There's many different schools of thought relative to who is indigenous to this land. There are some people who believe that black people are indigenous to this land. There's some people who have some Native American ancestry mixed in with other ancestry. I get all of that. But in all honesty, I can't even believe we're having this conversation as men of color. But I'm gonna stop there and listen.
Okay, but hold on, Ernest, and Brother JRICH. Before you respond, I wanna ask you this: hearing a lot of people and their feelings, because I know you are a caring man. I do know that you really care. is it at least giving you a different train of thought that maybe you have to relook at it? And then I'm going to let you respond to the caller.
I never said that, you know what I mean, people wouldn't be offended by it. People are offended by it, you know what I mean, all the time. And I'm not doubting it. And like I said, like for like the first caller that called in and said that when, you know what I mean, she came up in an environment where it was taught that it meant scalping. This brother is coming in, he's telling me that, you know what I mean, that it's racial. My question to both of them is, when did it become a racial slur? If the term was actually created by the people themselves, at what point did it become racial? Again.
Are you there, Brother Ernest?
Hello?
Yeah, you there? I think we lost Brother JRICH. You still there, JRICH? Okay.
I can answer that question.
Flip your phone.
I can respond.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Ernest.
So his question is, I get it. I understand. I see his vision, but it's irrelevant. And he's asking the wrong individuals. Why don't he ask those people who levied the lawsuit? Why doesn't he do that? His question is irrelevant. When did it become a racial slur? That's irrelevant. I understand he's trying to put it in historical context. But if it was not offensive to folks, there would be no lawsuit. That is the evidence. Most HBCUs were started by white men. However, they're historical black colleges and universities. You see the parallel? You see the picture I'm trying to paint there? So his question is irrelevant. It doesn't matter when it became one. It is one. And there are things that Native American or indigenous brothers and sisters, words and terminology they can use, doesn't mean everybody can use it. There's terminology that we use within our community, but if somebody in another community uses it, there's a problem. So that logic doesn't jive. That logic, it makes no sense. Right? There are a group of people out there fighting against this.
Brother JRICH, you want to respond?
And they're fighting legit. That's why you have schools. You have schools.
Let me ask you a question, brother. Let me ask you a question. When you see the word red skin, what part of it is offensive? What part of it is derogatory?
Listen to me. I'm going to answer your question. I am not Native American. I am following my brothers. And now, yes, just like some other folks, my people are from North Carolina, and yes, I do have some Native American brothers and sisters in my family, just like you do. But I'm not claiming that. Are there not Native American brothers and sisters who find this offensive? So your question is irrelevant asking it to me. I am choosing as a person of color. I am
You're the one telling me
to align myself.
Hold on.
Why you cut me off?
Me asking you is very you're the exact person that I need to be talking to about it, because you're the one who referred to me as let me talk to this clown. So now when the question is asked to you, what part of red and skin from the people that came up with the term themselves to describe themselves so that they can set themselves apart from everybody else, what part of it is offensive? Is it the red part or is it the skin part?
First of all, check this out. Okay, you want to go there? Do black folks call each other nigga?
No. See, you started the whole thing off. Did you not call me a clown before you even sat down and spoke to me?
Okay, all right, listen.
Okay,
so let's
go back. Is it the red part?
All right, let's go back. Now, let me respond. You asked me a question, let me respond. All right? You clearly are offensive because I called you a clown. Let me clarify. You're not a clown because you my brother. You're a clown because you're a Washington football fan. That's what makes you a clown.
I agree totally.
Right, so
I agree totally. If something wrong, and it's in here. It's in here with you, brother. But we working with you. We love you.
Let's be clear. I'm not questioning your manhood. You my brother.
All right. That's good. That's good. We back the love. We back the love. Ernest, you there? JRICH, you there? All right, you there, Ernest? Ernest, you there?
Question. A very simple question.
Y'all broke up.
Red skin. What part of it is offensive? It's a very simple question.
Well, Jay Rich, I'm going to bring in the first call. I'm going to keep everybody on the line. But let me say this, though. I think you focusing on the red and the skin. But in the video, they already clarified we don't identify that red and that skin as a color or a skin color. We take that name and made it something different. So you have to acknowledge that. You have to acknowledge that. But call it 8768. Hold on, Ernest. Hold on, Ernest. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, I understand that. I understand that people are offended by the name. What I'm simply asking is this. What part of the name is offensive? Now, if I said, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah, we should go and root for the wetbacks. We should go and root for the kikes. We should go and root for, the jigaboos. All these names are very negative. All these names have negative meanings to them. That's my whole point. All these names have negative meanings.
You have to acknowledge. And hold on, let me bring the first caller in again. 8768, are you still there, my sister?
Yes, I'm still here.
I know we got, and Ernest, stay on the line. I wanted to get your input on what Brother Ernest is saying and Brother Jay Rich's reply. What do you feel about that?
I mean, my thing is what Brother Ernest said about as far as upholding white supremacy. Nobody should be doing it. I mean, that's a slap in the face to anybody's ancestors that, anything they had to go through, whether they were indigenous, whether they were black or anything. You can be a fan of whatever, but when you wear that memorabilia, you uphold it. It's somebody that's going to be offended, and it just seems like the reply is just so insensitive, to wear it. Like, okay, oh, well. That's them. Some people are offended and some people aren't. But what about the people that are offended? They're people too. What if it was a black issue, then everybody would be on it. It would be an issue. But it just sounds like a whole bunch of insensitivity. It just does.
Can I add to that?
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
And then I'll let Jay Rich respond.
Let me add to that. I am an image maker. You solely want to focus on the name. It's not just the name. It's also the image on the side of the helmet. What attracted me to your hat was not the name. It's the image that you wear. There isn't another team in this racialized society in sports named white skin, black skin, yellow skin. It doesn't exist. You know why it doesn't exist? Because those terms are all offensive. All of them. That type of language is incendiary. And there are people out there fighting against that. There's no team called the Blackskins.
Go ahead, Brother Jay Rich.
The only thing that has changed then, because when you got down into like the 1800s, that's exactly how people refer to each other. White skin, red skin, black skin. The only thing that changed is whites no longer call themselves white skins, blacks no longer call themselves black skins, but a Native American continued to call himself the red man. It continued. And that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Between red man and red skin. That's not the same.
It is a difference.
Let me finish, brother. There's no point, you know what I mean, where as like, okay, they, you know what I mean, slaves were brought over and they're like, oh, you know what I mean, oh, I identify
slaves
myself.
Slaves were not brought over.
Hold on.
Slaves were not brought over. Africans were brought over.
I identify myself as as nigga. I identify myself as nigga. So all through history, you have black people identifying themselves as nigga, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh no, nigga's derogatory. Well, what part of nigga is derogatory?
That's not true. That's not true.
But listen. I know you're saying that I'm being insensitive, but I'm not. Listen, let me finish, man. I know you're saying that I'm being insensitive, but I'm not. I'm just trying to make a point that you're getting upset about a name, that the name itself is not derogatory.
I just told you it's not just the name, it's also the image.
It is.
Let me chime in real quick, Jay Rich. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna chime in real quick because you under the fire. Number one, I want to give you get some water, get stuff together. I want to chime in real quick. When I grew up, we call homosexuals, and I don't want to say the word because they put you off YouTube for this word down. It's derogatory. The F word. The F word for homosexuals. It was just hold on. It was just another term to me. Gay, the F word. Sissy, I didn't know that they would take it to heart. I actually didn't think it was name calling. I just thought that's what you called people. But as I got older, I realized that homosexuals thought it was derogatory. I thought it was a different name for homosexual. I don't understand the difference. I don't understand how sissy could be derogatory. It's the same thing. You're saying whatever. But to see the feeling of what it meant to them, I stopped saying those words. I just stopped saying those words. And I think that's where they may feel you're being dismissive because it's looking like you're not looking at the pain from the people that feel that way. Am I making sense? Because you may come off this call and say, what, I do understand.
I said that because my family members that live on a reservation, my family members, they go to the reservation. My family members that are wear Redskin gear, they buy Redskin tickets. They are Redskin ticket holders up until
But that's your family. That's your family. This not the sister on the phone.
That's all I said from the very beginning. The question was, do I find it offensive? And I said no.
No, what I'm saying, I got you.
Let me ask him a question. I understand that other people find it offensive. Yes, I do.
So then it is offensive. You agree?
To some people, yes.
So my question is, if it is, hold up, E. If it is offensive,
got you.
Should we just do away with the name? Your pride, your championships, your organization, it still represents what it represents. Could you just change the name? Who cares about a damn name? You still rocking the same colors. Maybe if they change the name to Washington Prideful, the Washington Courage, the Washington Brave, and then had the Indian on there and said, we at least going to try to change it to keep our logo and build more of a sensitivity and build more of a image that reflects a positivity for the Indian and come to the community. Maybe that's what we could do. I'm not saying you have to change the logo, maybe change the meaning of the name and just show some kind of care for the Indians. Do you think that could be a resolve?
Oh, I mean, that can always be the resolve. I mean, to change the name. But again, when I said that, and like I said, I'm no fan of Snyder. But the man went around and he asked. Yes, there were some people that said, no.
Stop it.
What do you mean, stop it? He did. He went around and he asked.
Brother,
the community felt it wasn't asking. Go ahead, Ernest. I apologize.
Listen, check this out. Let me ask you a question. The Cleveland Indian logo, do you think that's offensive?
No.
I'm sorry?
No.
The Cleveland Indian logo, do you think that's an offensive logo?
No.
I have nothing else to say to you.
Is there something I should be looking into about the Cleveland Indian logo?
Are you serious? Brother, you have no consciousness.
What are you talking about?
Sometimes conversations can only go but so far.
Hey, can you find a picture to the Cleveland Indian logo and put it up? Maybe I don't know what the Cleveland Indian logo is. I thought it was just two feathers in a ring or something.
Right. So remember when Bomani Jones of ESPN wore his Caucasian shirt that looked just like the Cleveland Indians shirt? Do you remember that?
No.
Bomani Jones of ESPN wore a T-shirt that said Caucasians. And they had a white man with $2 signs mimicking the Cleveland Indians logo. And he did it on purpose, intentionally.
Okay.
And when they asked him on the job why'd he wear it, He said because he needed to do laundry. But the point was to show you how offensive these images are. It's not just about the name. It's also about the logo and the image and what it represents.
I'm gonna look up the Cleveland Indian thing. So we have both on the same page.
While he's looking into that, I'm gonna get the sister back in real quick. Are you still there, my sister?
Yes, I'm still here.
I know this is a powerful build. What are your
I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it.
Okay. What are your opinions of Brother JRICH? Hearing his view on this whole situation.
I don't even know what to think at this point. I mean, I know in life who are allies and who aren't. And like I said before earlier, you have to question people who their loyalty is and who it isn't. And to claim indigenous heritage, like just I don't even know.
Brother JRICH, hearing the sister.
To claim indigenous heritage and to do that, it just doesn't even make sense.
Hearing the sister, JRICH, because I got to defend you. She doesn't know you.
Because when you do that, all the stuff that indigenous people have gone through is a slap in the face. To this day, all that we go through. I can't say we as a whole because people that do that, it's in some sense they're excluded from the group. They can't be included because our struggle was not their struggle, obviously. Because if it was, this conversation wouldn't be going on because they're not an ally and they're not loyal. It can't be.
Good point.
It's a good movie on Netflix called Indian Horse, and it's not about mascots, but it's about a young man that went to Indian residence school, and how they tried to break him and did everything to take his culture from him, and all the things that we've been through as a people, and to see this in the face. If sometimes I'm in the room, the only indigenous woman in the room, a woman told me last year, I thought all indigenous people died out. It's just that it's in the mindset of people, and to uphold this, that's white supremacy. And when you do that, you uplift it, you support it. When you buy that hat, that shirt, and when you buy them tickets, when you watch that game on TV, you keep it living. It's a machine, and you feed the machine, and that's what's going on. The machine will never die because people like that feed it, and to keep going because it's being fed.
Now, before you respond, Brother JRICH, let me say this real quick. I know that you are caring and a strong person. I know that I know you personally. I know you are the most chivalrous, kind-hearted brother that I know. I don't deal with people. I know how much you feel compassionate about it. Hearing how they feel you feel by defending the logo, does it just make you rethink things a little bit? Just to say, you know what, maybe I do need to take some time to go back and just think of how they feel. And, maybe we do need to look at at least some kind of reach to this community to get some resolve in this matter and not just be dismissive of it.
I'm not being dismissive of it. And if I'm coming across that way, then I'll apologize. I'm not being dismissive of it. And I'll tell you this, I didn't wear the hat today. Normally, right here, I got my Redskin flag. Normally, right here, I got my Pittsburgh flag. I didn't put it up today because Brother Ernest said that he was offended by it. He said he was offended by it, so I didn't put it up. I purposely didn't put it up because somebody said that they were offended by it, so it's not there. It's been there for like weeks. So no, I know you think that I'm being insensitive, but I'm not. I understand. I said I know people get offended by it. I get it. I understand. Only thing, that I'm saying is that I wasn't raised that way. I was raised in a household that didn't say, that this meant scalping. You know what I mean? And even when when I went back to find out, like, where did the whole scalping thing come from? I couldn't find it. That's just me. Also, me. I rallied against McCain out in Arizona, signed petitions. I called my senators. I called my representatives. I called them all. I sent letters to the Republicans because he wanted to pass a law to rescind, Native American rights in Arizona and take their land. I donated time. I donated signed petitions, called down to D.C. for Standing Rock. I have done it. Matter of fact, just yesterday, there's another Indian tribe that Trump, while all of this was going on with COVID-19 and his whatever type of trial was going on, he took away the reservation rights for another Indian group. So what am I doing? I'm signing petitions. I'm calling my senators. Like, no, you can't do this. So I know, you know what I mean? It seems like, oh, you can't be an ally. You know what I mean? You root for the Redskins. It's not true. It's not true at all. I like the team. I understand why the team was named what it was named. I also understand at the time when the team was named, this was not a racial slur. This wasn't seen as a racial slur. This was actually seen as honoring them. So, you know what I mean? You fast forward and now people like saying like, oh, well, nah. Now all of a sudden, you know what I mean? This is a racial slur. This is a racial slur. And it's just like when I asked the brother, you know what I mean? It's the exact same thing. What part of it is racial? What part of it is a slur? What part of it is a slur? When you say like to talk about the N-word, nigga. I call people nigga all the time. Not because of their skin color, but because of their actions. I call white people niggas. I call Hispanic niggas. I call Asian niggas.
I got a question.
Anybody.
Hold on, JRICH. Hold on. Let's say you're in the barbershop and you kicking it and a older brother in the 60s and you like, oh man, my nigga. And that older brother says, look, man, don't say that word to me. Don't say that word around me. And you like, man, I didn't grow up or I didn't feel, me and my boys kick it. Would you say that and would it change you psychologically to not say that word around them?
Most definitely. That's
so let me ask you this. I understand that. I understand that. I understand that. But look at this. Should fans support the Washington Redskins until they change the name? If it's offending people, should they just change the name, brother?
I don't think that you support anything that you're offended by.
Should you support something that offends other people?
I'll give that some thought.
That's all. That's a positive. We made progress. What do you say, my sister? Are we making progress with my brother?
We'll see.
I mean, he said he got to think about it. Ernest, what do you say?
Time will tell.
Here's what I say, right? Symbols and signs help shape the collective consciousness of a people, even more so than words. So forget the name and focus on the symbol. We, especially melanated people, are people of symbols. That's why our children are so attracted to the polo sign or the Nike swoosh, because symbols carry more meaning and weight in our consciousness with our spirit. So forget the name. It's the emblem. It's the symbol and what that symbol represents. That is what has folks continuously rooting for and buying things and being a consumer, and you understand what I'm saying? And performing internalized racial oppression. These because of the symbols that we follow. The Mercedes-Benz sign, you know what I mean? The BMW sign, the symbols that we are attracted to, and it taps into our unconscious and our subconscious. So forget the word. I know what that symbol represents, and it is a symbol that does not pay homage to the most underrepresented people in this country. It does not pay homage to them. And folks are continuously to make money in this capitalist society to make money off of an image of a people that is continuously mistreated and underrepresented. That's what's wrong with the image. And what the sister said previously leads me to that. Symbols and images. the image. That's why I brought up the image, the Cleveland Indian image. And you know, the brother never came back and responded.
Because we start talking about something else. Oh yeah, that joint is ridiculous.
That's all right. Well, now
that's not what I thought the Cleveland Indian logo was. That's not what I thought their logo was.
Why did you say the Cleveland Indian logo was ridiculous?
Oh, because it is. I just looked at it. Because it's a character. I looked it up while he was talking or what have you. Mm-hmm. That's not what I thought the Cleveland Indian thing. I thought they had like 2 feathers in something or whatever. It's Cleveland. They're sorry. No one pays them any attention. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, that's not what I thought there.
Washington is not sorry?
Baltimore.
The burgundy and gold is not sorry. So, but in all seriousness,
they're not chokers in the playoffs.
Sports is entertainment. Sports is entertainment. I'm not taking that bait. Sports is entertainment. But in real life, it's really the Roman circus. It's there to distract us from what's really going on.
Oh, 100%.
So to walk around with a Ravens hat, a Cowboys hat, a Steelers hat, a Washington hat, it's really distracting us from the things that we should actually be thinking about and doing. And we're encapsulated in this continued enslavement of consumerism. That's really what I mean. We joke and we play and we talk about our teams but when you wear that, you support that. And I'm not going to say that, I don't have Dallas Cowboy slippers that my mom bought me 15, 20 years ago. I still have them. I'm not going to say that I don't have a Ravens hoodie. I have it. I also recognize when I wear that, because we being real honest, the entire NFL is racist. The entire system is racist. Not just Washington's football team or Cleveland's baseball team. You have white billionaires, almost all white billionaires, making money off of players who make more money than the average individual, so we put them on a pedestal. But it's still just a modern form of enslavement. Book called The $40 Million Slave, one of the best books I've ever read by Bill Rhoden, a sports writer and a journalist who played football at Morgan State University. Autobiography of an autobiography of an Indian by Alexi Sherman, I believe is his name. Either way, Native American young man that came up in this society, had to go to boarding school during our lifetime, and the trials and tribulations that he went through going to a school on the reservation and then transferring to a school off the reservation. So, I mean, it's a lot that we need to continue to study. I mean, this is an interesting conversation. I didn't mean to call you a clown. I wasn't challenging your manhood. I was solely addressing the hat you had on. That's the clown's attire. I was only solely addressing it. But I can't believe that you mentioned anything relative to being sorry and you still wear that burgundy and gold. And what y'all did to my man, who's the backup for the Ravens now, what the coach at the time did to him, leaving him in that preseason game and allowing that black man to be beaten up, play after play with no protection intentionally, and then to damn near really take him off the roster. You gonna tell me that has nothing to do with race?
No.
I can give you example after example after example.
I don't think, but we can talk about that later.
The Washington football team was the last football team to integrate in the NFL. Are you aware of that?
I am. That's true.
There's a reason for that. It's a reason for that.
Well, Brother Ernest, I appreciate you.
It's all entertainment.
Go ahead, E. Finish up. I'm going to let you close out. I'm going to let my sister close out, and then I'm going to let Brother JRICH close out.
No, I'm going to make
you let me close out now?
You want to close out now first?
Because I want to hear what the sister got.
Go ahead, my sister.
Close out. I was just
going to
say,
can you introduce yourself again to the family? Can you introduce yourself again to the family?
Okay, my name is Cherokee Bell Phoenix, Cherokee Rose Bell Phoenix.
Gotcha.
And I just wanted to say I enjoy sharing my points. And Brother JRICH, no hard feelings. It's just a start of a conversation. And I just hope that some of the things I expressed that could ponder, in your heart and your mind. And it's the start of a conversation, and I'll take some things you said, perhaps as far as history, but it's just the start of a conversation, in that everybody can take everybody's pain and perhaps move forward in healing, because that's the only way we can move forward is through education, so we can heal. Because a lot of black people, as well as indigenous people, have been through trauma and continue to go through trauma, and the only way we can move forward is heal. And that's what I have to say. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you so much, my sister. And please call back again. You were phenomenal. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Ernest. But just Prairie invited me, so
okay. You know, that's,
and I was distracted by your hat, brother Rich, so I was tempted.
but thank you so much for calling. Have a blessed day.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Thank you. All right, E, go ahead and close out.
So the sister put it where the ghost can get it. I'm going to take a lighter approach here. All right? I'm going to take a slightly lighter approach. Anyone who continues, because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not really a sports fan like I used to be. And Everett will tell you, I love football. I love boxing. I will argue to the death. Really, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the GOAT, but Jordan is better than LeBron. But so, I love getting to debates and discussing and fellowshipping with my brothers, because that's really what this is. It's fellowship for us. But anyone who will follow the burgundy gold has some semblance of mental illness, especially in 2020. So I understand why it's hard to get through to this brother. I actually feel some empathy for him. Year after year to have to root for that team, I feel some empathy for him. Especially considering the fact that now, even though I don't watch like I used to, it does feel good during football season on Sundays in Baltimore. So I'll just say, enjoy the conversation. Look to continue the conversation. Everybody be safe during this COVID piece. Hopefully, maybe we have something to distract us on Sundays, because considering COVID, we may not have anything to distract us on Sundays.
Yeah.
But I'm going to pray for your boys. Yes, sir.
If you can send E your phone number, I would love to have a conversation with you off the air, man.
I got y'all.
You mind if I contact you?
No, not at all.
My man.
Absolutely. I'm not really a beer drinker like I used to be, but if push come to shove, we could get together on Sundays somewhere where they got a bunch of TVs. I'll come out. Oh, well, my man, we on the same path.
All right, hold tight, brother E.
You got it. Peace.
Peace.
Peace, brother.
All right, brother JRICH. That was a good build, man. That was a good build. And honestly, you shot me in a lot of areas, because, you was, I don't know, somewhere down the line, you just, I'm not going to say you changed your thought, but you kind of, just started thinking a little bit. What do you feel? Just go in a little bit. Take your time. What do you feel about the build tonight? Your thoughts?
For me, again, you know what I mean? It all comes down to like our experiences. And for like the first caller to call in, I feel where she's coming from. Because if I was in a different environment and I would, you know what I mean? And we were taught, oh no, you know what I mean? This has come from scalping. This is this and this is this and so on and so forth. Then my thinking and the way that I see it would be different. But coming from, you know what I mean, a family where like half my family, you know what I mean, is Native American, and they rooted for the Redskins. To know that the whole team was brought about because of an honor. You know, whether people agree with it or not, you know what I mean? That was the whole
you had a different perspective of the name. You had a different perspective of the name.
Exactly. So, I mean, anytime you sit down and you have a conversation with somebody, I always make two things my goal: to learn and to teach. And today I sat back and I learned that people, you know what I mean, that and I came into it thinking, you know what I mean, maybe there's just a misconception about what the name means. So I was just like, maybe I'm wrong. So then I started looking it up and saying, you know what I mean, let me find out, you know what I mean, when did this term why is this term so derogatory? So when you look into like the dictionary,
I'm gonna tell you, I didn't know.
What I mean, like
I didn't know. Not to cut you off. My fault, JRICH. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it's, you know what? The funny thing is when you look it up, it just says derogatory term for Native American. It doesn't tell you what it means. It just says a derogatory term for Native Americans. You have to go back and research. Okay, well, where did this come from? And it's just the same. It kills me because it's the same as nigger. When you look up the word nigger, it just says derogatory term for African Americans. What does nigger mean? You know what I mean? Don't tell me that it's derogatory term. Tell me, what does it mean? And once you go through all of that, and like I said, man, you know what I mean? It's not that I'm being insensitive or what have you. It's just that my experience is different. And to say like, oh, you know, you can't be an ally, I'm absolutely an ally. I'm absolutely an ally. I'm calling my senators. I'm calling my representatives. You know what I mean? About the things that's still going on with our people. And when I say our people, even the ones that reject us because we have darker skin. If there's interracial racism that goes on within Native Americans. But I still support them. I can't just say like, oh, you know what I mean? They don't like me, so I can't do this. You know what I mean? No. When Standing Rock thing jumped off, I'm on the phone. I'm signing every petition that I can find. I'm calling. I'm making, you know what I mean? I'm putting it on. I got it on my Twitter. When McCain, this was about a year or two before he passed away. He was pushing hard to take that land away from our people out there in Arizona, and it just went under the radar. Nobody said anything. Nobody knew, and it was just like, and he's trying his best to push legislation to get this land taken. And now to find out that, you know what I mean, in the midst of all this, like my man said, in the midst of all of this COVID-19, this distraction. In the middle of this distraction, because this tribe has a stronghold on some type of business that's going to interfere with some other billionaire or millionaire's business. They're looking. He's taking their rights away. He's taking their rights away. He is taking their U.S. protection away, which is against all types of treaties. I fight against this. I call them on the line. So it's not that I'm insensitive to our people. My experience with the Washington Redskins itself has been different. I understand now, you know, it's not that I never understood that people didn't get offended. I just never understood why they were offended, because it's not my experience.
I got you.
And tonight gave me a chance to, you know what I mean, to look into that. So now I see why some people are offended. So I took down. You don't see any of my Redskin paraphernalia.
That was deep. I mean, I didn't even pay that any mind. And I'm not going to lie. I did not realize the meaning. I thought it was because of the skin color. And when I started listening to the videos, and they was like, "No, man, this is a symbol. This is a symbol of us being killed and all of this other stuff." And I was like, "Uh-oh." And then when a sister called, and then she said the same thing, I was like, I never knew that. And so then I just started even changing my mind a little bit more while we were talking. Like, wow, this is a little bit deeper than I thought. Because like you say, if you do the research, you don't see that. But these people are talking about it in the video. So it really just struck me and blew my mind. But I do got to commend you, man, because throughout the course of the build, your mentality changed. And that's why that's why we do this. That to build, understand each other. And I just think it was powerful, man. I just think it was powerful. But go ahead and close out, JRICH.
Anything that you find to be offensive, absolutely, positively, you should not, you know what I mean, support. You should build support and then teach people, you know what I mean, why it's offensive. What is it that about is offensive? You know what I mean? And so on and so forth. And then, you know what I mean, you if you wanted to change, the number one thing to get anything in America, this is America, let's be honest. There's only one way you're going to change anything in America, and that's money. That's it. That's the only way you're going to get things to change. If you want Snyder to change the name of the Washington Redskins, then you have to stop going to the games. You have to stop buying his products and everything else. That's the only way it's going to happen. That's it. But that's for anything. You know what I mean? That's for anything. That's for the Cleveland Indians. That's for the Chicago Blackhawks. That's for any of them. You know, that goes along the same long lines of Coca-Cola, of Firestone. You know, when we start talking about, you know what I mean, things that are derogatory and racially biased, how we can go out and buy tires from Firestone, but you don't know what they're doing in Africa to get these rubber trees. But you still go and buy their tires. You are supporting a racist enterprise. When we talk about, like me personally, I don't buy Nestle. I don't buy anything made by Nestle because California has been in a drought for a number of years, and Nestle continues to pump billions of gallons of water out of a land that has been in a drought for I don't know how many years. And then you flip the script to about a year or two ago, maybe even 3. You know what I mean? They go up into Flint, Michigan. The water source that Flint, Michigan had, the clean water that they had, guess who's pumping water from out of there to bring you Deer Park? Nestle is. These people aren't getting that water because the governor signed a contract with them to allow them to pump water out there. So you may think that, you know what I mean, like I'm just this big insensitive guy, you know what I mean, because I wear this Redskin hat, but you're so far from the truth. That's just so far from the truth.
Man, that was a strong build. Before I let you go, our next show, hopefully you can do this during the week. I want to talk about Diddy's statement about the black vote. Did you hear that about that?
No.
Diddy said, you know, the black vote, and I agree with her. He said the black vote isn't going to be free. We need to get something in return this time. He said that specifically, I believe he was directing it to Joe Biden. And the reason I'm saying that is I always said that. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. I'm definitely not for Trump. I'll say that right now. But I'm not for anybody else because I need change. And the reason I'm saying that, my dear brother Malcolm Smith. Oh, my dear brother. He shared a post, and this brother, I gotta commend this brother. The brother's name is James Torrance. He's running for city council in District 7. And you know, my brother Malcolm shared the post and said leadership matters. So I went off. I was like, man, I looked at the post he shared and I understood he had some ideas, but I said, man, I need a plan for action before I can vote for this brother. I don't want to hear any talk. I need you to tell me we're going to do this, and this to work on the drugs. This, and this to get crime down. This, and this to build a better school system. I need to see a plan in action. So when your plan fails, I can't be mad at you because at least you had a plan. If you can't implement your plan, somebody is making it hard for you and we got to vote them out. Check this out. The brother responded. The brother hit me and said, dropped his phone number to me and said, call me. I will talk to you personally about your plan. So I invited him on. Hopefully I can get the brother on and interview him. But just to build off of that, we got to go into what black people need to be getting for our black vote. So we can do that during the week, maybe. Let's do it because next week, I promise, I got to do that topic you want to do about what we need to be doing with this stimulus money and this big lump sum of unemployment money as far as investing. But if you can get through during the week, let's try to make that happen.
Let's make it happen.
You got it, brother. Peace and love to you. You know you my guy. And I don't know why they jumping on you about the Redskins. You got 2 teams. Something is wrong with you because you like Pittsburgh. I mean, you're a confused brother, but I love you. We're going to get the best out of you, brother. You got 2 teams and both of them are just awful, you know. But I'm praying that, you know, you get a better spirit in your life. We get rid of the Redskins first. We'll deal with Pittsburgh later, which is to me is more awful because the the fans, the Pittsburgh Steelers fans, are just awful people. They show no respect, no moral value whatsoever. But I'll leave that for another show.
Where my Steelers at right now, homie?
Should we eliminate Steelers fans from the planet? That will be our next show. But definitely we got to build on this, man, all right?
Sounds good, man. Let's do it.
All right, peace and blessings, brother JRICH. Peace and blessings.
Peace, man.
All right, that was my brother JRICH. What a powerful build, man. That was a phenomenal build with my brother. And again, like I said, we're going to talk about that Puff Daddy statement. I'm old school. I call him Puffy, Puff Daddy. They call him Diddy. Sean Puffy Combs, about his statement of the black vote. And we're going to get on that. And also, hopefully I can get this brother that's running. I really want to talk to the brother because I got a lot of respect that he hit me back, dropped his number, and said, I want to talk to you. I do got a plan. And he wants to hear me out. And I want to build a strong build from him. And that's what it's all about, man. Another great, powerful show. I hung up on a couple people. I apologize. I'm still working on the phone line thing. But just bear with me. I think I dropped 3 calls, so I apologize. I'm working on it. I was trying to put you on hold, and I hung up. But I'll get you in next week, and we'll continue to build and get the show better. So once again, Hotep, peace and blessings. And we out of here. Principles of my art.
Real truth and power, health, wealth, knowledge of self, uplifting the community. Let's talk about it.
Learn yourself.
Real truth and power. Knowledge of self, uplifting the community. Let's talk about it.
Hit the like and the share. Share the information. We working it out as